Alright, evening everyone. This is Steve, aka Dreaming Crow, doing a book review for you this evening. Before we get into the review here, I want to kindly remind you to please subscribe to my channel. The buttons either going to be down here below or left or right of your screen there. And also, if you do like the video, I would appreciate a like on that as well. Again, the like button is going to be below the screen there, near the subscribe button. Okay, and if you are already a subscriber to my channel, I do appreciate that very much. Okay, this week was a little bit busy for me, and so today is Saturday evening, February 22nd. And I did have to work earlier today, and we happened to get done around 5 p.m. So I got home and I decided to get a ritual done and do this book review. Now this book review is going to be a little lengthier than some of the others, and I'll get to that why that is in just a moment. I also have a brand new headset here. I ordered off Amazon.com. Got that in the mail about 4 or 5 days ago. This is a Bluetooth headset. It's cordless. It does have a range of up to 160 feet, and I figured I'm going to be doing some rituals that are going to require me to probably walk around my temple area, and I didn't want to be tied down by a USB cord to my laptop. So I thought the $25 was just a good investment to get something like that. Okay, so jumping into the book review this evening, we have the 72 Angels of Magick, Instant Contact to the Angels of Power by Damon Brand. This book was published by Damon Brand in 2015, and it is actually his third book that he published as one of the authors to the Gallery of Magic. The book does contain 203 pages in it, and gives you instant contact to the Angels of Magick, sometimes referred to as the Angels of the Shem Ha-Marash, and I'll get into that as well in just a few moments here. Again, I did see that this was his third book he wrote. The first two books he wrote, the first one being Magical Angels, and then the second one, The Greater Magical Angels. Both of those books, I do believe, were published back in 2014, and this book is actually just a combination of those two books. So if you already have those two books, you really don't need this one, unless if you want the updated material in it, and that updated material happens to be a new Shem Talisman, again, that was presented in the original first two books. That Shem Talisman was presented to the practitioner in Latin. The new Shem Talisman that is presented in this book is now in Hebrew. Okay, and the other difference between those two books that is in this one is that the master ritual has been a little bit simplified as opposed to the ritual as it appears in the first two books. So if you don't have those two books, which I believe are out of print at the moment, unless if you can find them through an out of print source, this would be your best bet. Again, you don't need those first two books unless if you like collecting books, kind of like I do. Then by all means you can go ahead and hunt it down if you'd like. Okay. So the 72 Angels of Magick are actually a combination. Oh, sorry, I already got into that. I'm just looking at my notes here. First and foremost, when you look into the book and you're looking through the section with the 72 Angels of Magick in it, you'll notice that some of the angels probably look familiar to you, and at least some of the names, I should say, and others don't. And that's simply because a lot of the angels actually, when you encounter them in other books, other literature and stuff like that, one angel could have several names, especially across different cultures and languages. So don't let that get you down. Go ahead and use the information in the book, and you'll be fine. You don't have to outsource or research anything like that unless if you absolutely want to, though. Okay? The angels presented in the book, as I said, are sometimes referred to as the angels of the Shem HaMarash, which means the explicit name, okay? And this is actually a term which is used to describe the hidden name of God in both Christian and Hermetic variants of the Kabbalah. This is also the most common version of the Shem HaMarash is the triad system of letters, which contains 72 letters. Okay, this is sometimes referred to as the 72 full name of God, or just the 72 full name, and it's actually an important key component in practicing some of the rituals in the Lesser Key of Solomon, particularly the Sefer Raziel. Yeah. So if you do practice Lesser Key of Solomon, you kind of know what I'm referring to. If you don't worry about it, folks. Again, if you want to research into it, I always encourage research, of course. Go ahead and you could take that time when it's easy for you. Okay, the triad of letters does come from the book of Exodus, chapter 14, verses 19 through 21. And Kabbalistic legends does state that the 72 full name has been used or was considered to be used by Moses in order to part and cross the Red Sea. And it's also been known to grant holy men the power to cast out demons, heal the sick, prevent natural disasters, and a great many other powers, which are probably too lengthy to explain here, which isn't too surprising, though, when you do consider the power of the words here, and when you read through the listing of angels in the book as well as their abilities. You do begin to get a very good idea of those abilities that the angels and the 72 full name does possess. Originally, the occultist, Thomas Rudd, did feature the 72 Angels of Magick, in his magical works as a balancing force towards the spirits of the Ars Goetia. Okay, and this material was later expanded on by other occultists, as well as MacGregor Mathers in his works for the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. Using the system as outlined in the book, the practitioner does get the is able to get the angel's attention and is able to communicate with them directly, and is then through a request able to make changes within your life, depending on, again, on what those changes are. Once the preliminaries of the ritual have taken place, the practitioner does use the angel's sigil to make contact with them, and then again, as I just stated, once that contact is made, you speak your request. At that point, you may or may not receive a response from the angel. Some people say they have changes like an air pressure or a drop in temperature or a raise in temperature, or they start hearing weird sounds or weird things start happening. Those are all kind of just like responses to your request. Some people don't experience anything at all. If you don't worry about it. Either way, once you've made that contact with the angel and you stated your request, just continue on with the ritual, and the manifestation is going to happen in time. How long it takes for that manifestation to happen is going to depend on a lot of things. What has to be rearranged, universally, as well as you yourself. Do you have certain blockages and whatnot? And of course, this can take several days depending on the ritual, or it could take several weeks. However, don't ever forget that you do have to do your part as well. Okay, so if you do a ritual to get a better job or to get a pay raise, if you're going to get a better job, obviously you have to go out, you have to put your resume out, you have to put applications in, talk to people, network. If you want a pay raise, you got to show your boss, hey, I'm worthy of this pay raise. You got to do your part in that, folks. All right. Now, it does, when you do a ritual in this book, the master ritual is how it's referred. Each ritual is going to take 11 consecutive days to complete. You're going to start the ritual on a Thursday, and then count 11 days forward, and then, of course, you should end on a Sunday. It really doesn't matter when you perform the ritual. You can do it during the waning moon, waxing moon, new moon, full moon. I really haven't experienced any, as far as if moon phases have played any type of effect in any of the rituals. You may experience something different. I don't know. Just go ahead and follow the ritual format in the book and for the 11-day period, and you should be fine. And with that, folks, at this point, let me go ahead and explain a little bit more what's going to happen here. I'm going to go ahead and pause this ritual. I'm going to go ahead and pause this video, and then I'm going to start recording again. What I'm going to do, the reason why this video is going to be a little bit lengthy is because I'm going to explain a little bit more on contacting the angels and what is referred to in the book is as singing your request to the angels. I want to cover that slightly in another part of the video. So there's going to be a couple sections here, and I'm going to go ahead and try to break that down in the minutes, like in the description section. So if you want to look at a particular part of the video, you can skip ahead to that point if you'd like to, all right? And then what I'm going to actually end up doing is I will be performing the master ritual in addition on this video. And not only am I going to perform the master ritual and give a couple side notes as I go along, as far as to points within the master ritual, there is also a second master ritual that does not appear in the book. But if you're familiar with the Gallery of Magic and you've read a lot of their blog posts online, you do know that there is a master ritual that allows you to work with 2 or more angels at one time. And what I'm going to do is, after I perform the first master ritual, I'll go ahead and perform the second one as well, as if I'm using 2 or more angels. And then, again, as I go along in that ritual, I will be explaining what are the key differences in the ritual and how and where you're going to, those key differences are, and what you need to do for that to happen. Before I do that, however, I do want to point out something really quick, and I'm going to show you the Shem Talisman if you're not familiar with it. And of course, the master ritual is printed out in the back of the book. If you do want an example of that, if you already have the book, if you don't have the book, obviously you'll have it as well. The book also does cover any type of pronunciation that you're going to need to learn throughout the book for certain things. And as long as you follow those guidelines, again, you should be just fine, folks. This here, and I'm not saying that you need to do anything like this. This is just me being a occultist and a practitioner of many years. Within this book, which contains about 321 pages, is pretty much every ritual or ritual summary that the Gallery of Magic has ever put out in any of their books. Out of all the books that they have, this is me, where I basically summarized everything in a format so that when I want to go to practice a ritual, I don't pull the book off the shelf. I pull obviously my grimoire is what it is. So what I've done over the years is I would type the ritual out in a step-by-step format. Certain areas I would bold, and I would also type it in a larger font. And that's simply because sometimes I work in a room that is dimly lit, and having the font on the page printed in a larger size is a lot easier to read during that in that dim light, as opposed to reading out of the book. So this is kind of just an example. If you find that writing out the rituals for you help out, then that's great, because I don't like having to flip back and forth between pages to look at things. I like to have everything in front of me at one point so that I'm not having to jumble stuff around. This also does have a table of contents. So, I broke this book down into different parts, just like everything else. So there's one section for all the rituals and magical protection. There's one section for all the rituals in wealth magic, all the rituals in magical riches. Again, the 72 Angels of Magic are in here, the Angels of Alchemy, Angels of Wrath, Archangels of Magic. Pretty much, again, any and every ritual that they've put out is in here, including anything that they put in their blog posting, like the unfreezing ritual, the ritual for greater magical power, and a couple other things. So, folks, if you aren't going to their website, you're missing out on some rituals. You want to go over there and probably get those, because it also shows you how you can, again, combine multiple books together. And when the first time that I did present this book, it was in my video for the 72 Sigils of Power by Xana Blaze, and I did mention how you could use the two books in conjunction together. And you're going to find stuff like that on their website. So if you go there, you're gonna find information like that. But the Shem Talisman, and I'm going to open up my book here to that page. And I'm going to pull out those 2 or 3 or 4 pages. So this is kind of like my rituals here. This is obviously this is the first page. All right, I had to find the right one. And again, this is me in my practice. My Shem Talisman is right here inside the plastic covering to the ritual setup, or the ritual layout in my book. And all I've done here, folks, is, and again, this can get expensive over time, so you don't have to do this. Again, this is what I did. Is you could go to the Gallery of Magic website and print this out. Okay, this is the Shem Talisman as it presented in the 72 Angels of Magic, or you can simply just photocopy it, and that's fine. But what I've done basically is cut it out, and then what I did is I took packaging tape and I laid packaging tape across the front and the back. Okay, and I left a little bit hanging out, and then what I did is I cut around the edge, and because I like to hold this in my hand when I'm doing these rituals, as opposed to just like leaving it like on my altar top, I like holding it, and so having this covered in packaging tape helps keep it clean, prevents it from getting damaged and stuff like that, and it stands up over a good amount of time. If you do want to do something like this, I do recommend try to get some of the heavier quality packaging tape, like the stuff that's like I think they say like 2 millimeters or something like that in thickness. Don't get the real thin stuff because it doesn't. I mean, it works fine, but it causes like the sigil and stuff like that to roll sometimes. I like the thicker tape myself personally. So I'm going to hold the Shem Talisman up a little bit closer there to kind of show you what it looks like. And so when you read this Talisman, folks, of course, just like anything else in Hebrew, you're going to read it from right to left. And you're going to start from this point here on the outer circle. And of course, you're going to read around in a counterclockwise direction. And then you're going to come to this center circle here, and again you're going to scan around and then followed by the third one, and then of course you're going to continue inside. You're always going to start at this 12 o'clock point right here on the Shem Talisman, and then when you get to this point in the center where the triangle is, you're just going to scan straight down. You don't need to know what you're reading, folks. Just scan the talisman, take in the imagery, and you'll be fine. Okay, you don't need to know anything else other than that. And then, of course, again, this is kind of like my ritual setup that I've done, and I've basically just wrote everything out. Any point that there's pretty much like a point that I need to like read out loud, I generally like boldface it. And then of course anything that's just descriptive wise is in regular print. Again, that's just me though. So I just want to show that to you, and that might give you some ideas how you might want to proceed if you're new into the practice. What do you want to do? How do you want to set up your own books and stuff like that? Again, just to give you an idea. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and pause the video, and then I'm going to go ahead and talk about making contact with the angels. And in the book, there is a little asterisk symbol next to the angel names. I'm going to talk about that and what it means to sing your request to the angels, as well as singing the angel names. So I'm going to go ahead and find my mouse here, and I will be right back. Alright folks, evening. This is Crow coming back at you, and we are talking about the 72 Angels of Magick, Instant Contact to the Angels of Power by Damon Brand. This is the second part of the video that I was talking about, and in this part I'm going to be talking about making contact with the angels, the purpose of the asterisk symbol during inside the the master ritual in the outline, as well as what it means to sing your request, as well as sing the angel's name during the master ritual process. Okay. Now, if you do have a printed version of the book like this, on page 17 of the text, Brian does state to you that if you want the angels to hear your request, you sing to them. So rather than state your request, you sing your request. Now, give me just a moment to get into that, because I'm going to talk about that and how that it works in conjunction with the asterisk symbol that appears in the master ritual. And I'm going to flip to the back of the book really quick and kind of show you the what I mean here. So in the book, see if I can get that close enough without it being distorted. Okay, you're going to have, say like right here, you have the angel name Arzel, or as some people would say Arzael, or or Zale, okay? There's several different pronunciations, okay? Now, what this asterisk symbol means is that when you speak the angel's name, you first want to sing it, okay? And you want to imagine lightning at the same point. Now, let me explain how that works, okay? This point might get kind of confusing, especially if you're new to this. But if you have the book for a while and you've read it, then you're going to kind of understand what I'm talking about, okay? When it comes to making contact with the angels presented in the book, all you really need is, again, the angel's name, a desire to make contact with them, and their sigil, okay? And for this purpose, I do have the sigil Ra'el, okay, Ra'el, which is right here. Again, this is my sigil again. I have a tendency to print these out a lot, folks. Again, I have a separate book that has all my sigils in it, again, for like everything that I work with. If it's not within my grimoire here, directly with the ritual that it entails, then it's within another book, so I don't have to carry a bunch of books around with me. Anyways, Ra'el is the 69th angel in the order of the 72. And that angel's particular powers are to discover a thief, win a financial legal action, or increase fame and reputation. So, let's say you have a legal issue that involves money or like an inheritance. That would be one reason why you want to use this angel, okay? So when you have this sigil in front of you, I'm going to teach you how to read it. I'm going to show you how to read it in just a few moments as well. But you want to have the angel sigil in front of you for this purpose, okay? And this, again, is in regards to the asterisk symbol that appears in the book. What the Gallery of Magic did is they found a Kabbalistic system that often referred to lightning, and I'm going to talk about that here. So in magical operations, you have what is referred to, obviously, the elements, earth, air, fire, water, and the fifth element, spirit, which is often used to combine the other elements in magical practice, or in most magical practices. Okay, there is a lot of references in occult literature, not just Kabbalistic wise, but throughout the world, that often speak with the connection of lightning and thunder, and how that connects to our brain. Okay, literally, our brain is like a giant electrical current. Okay, I can't really describe it any more than that. So, in these forms, particularly in the Kabbalistic magic, what the Gallery of Magic found was that there was a mention of using lightning in their practices in order to make contact with angels and other spirits. And what they did is, when they applied this practice to the rituals, they found that during certain parts of the master ritual, they found that contacting the angels of the Shem HaMarash was so much easier, and again, it practically allowed for instant contact with the angel at that point. So the asterisk symbol is referring for you to, one, you need to sing the angel's name, and two, you want to imagine lightning. I'm not telling you to stick your finger in a light socket, folks. Okay, you don't need to use actual electricity here. but you want to imagine being struck by a lightning bolt. You want to imagine a bolt of lightning striking you when you speak the angel's name or when you sing their name. And I'm going to kind of give you an example how I do it. Okay, you might do it a little bit differently. Okay, so for instance, when you get to the first name Arzael, which is really another word for the archangel, the angel Raziel. Okay, you want to go ahead and use one of the three types of pronunciation in the master ritual for that. Okay, personally, I use Arzel. Okay, but if you want to say Arzael or anything else in that form, that's totally fine. Okay, but you don't need to say all three different versions of it. Okay, just find one that works for you. So instead of saying Arzel, 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 you're going to say Arzel, and then of course you want to envision being struck by the bolt of lightning. Now, when I do this, folks, before I even sit down and do the ritual and pull anything out, as part of my visualization process, I imagine myself being like on a mountaintop. This is kind of goes with the idea of the astral temple. If you've read about that, I'm sure a lot of you have. I'm not going to go and get into great detail about that. But what I want you to do is just kind of close your eyes and envision yourself being on a flat mountaintop. Okay, you can imagine any kind of scenery that you want. Just wherever you turn and you look, there's a valley on all sides of you. There's mountains in the distance, bright blue skies during the daytime. Flat grassy top on the mountaintop there. And the way that I do it is whenever I speak the angel's name, the bolt of lightning comes down and strikes me. Now, I envision this in my astral temple while I'm, here obviously doing the ritual. And you're, of course, going to do this 3 times. So when you speak the angel's name 3 times, you're going to sing the angel's name 3 times. You're going to envision being struck by the bolt of lightning 3 times. And there's actually a reason for using and stating their names 3 times. I don't have that information in front of me. I got to pick that up somewhere else. But there's a purpose behind the stating their name 3 times. Anyways, on with the video. I don't want to confuse you any more than I probably already have. Alright, so again, when you do this, when you're singing their name, you want to kind of stretch out the sound of the vowels. Okay, now David Brand kind of explains this in his book already. If you want to use a different singing voice, that's totally up to you. Now, when I started my magical practices like 28 years ago, when I was doing ceremonial magic and other stuff, he refers to it as singing. We sometimes refer to it as intoning or vibrating a spirit's name or a divine name. So again, all I would do is you want to put more stress on the vowels and less stress on the consonants. And if I could give you another example, the best thing I could probably tell you to do is go to YouTube, look up a movie, that has a scene in it where the action and the speech has been slowed down, for dramatic effect, of course, okay? when you see that the action scene has been slowed down and the speech has been slowed down, the speech seems to become distorted. Okay, if that makes sense. Okay, the funny thing is that Hollywood has it right. Okay, when it comes to pronouncing words of power, again, if you use this as an example and you watch a couple of them, you can't go wrong. As I said, the funny thing is that Hollywood gets it right. So, again, in the term for saying Arzel, okay, so I'll just say Arzel, 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 and that's it, okay. So when you put these two together again, the singing with the imagining of the lightning, at this point you make that instant contact with the angel. And remember that when that lightning bolt comes down and strikes you, it always has a connection to the heavens, okay? Now, normally when lightning strikes, we see it as just like one bolt of lightning. It's as if it's constant, but in reality what happens is when lightning strikes, it hits the ground and then it bounces back up. But when we look at it with our eyes, because it happens so fast, it looks like it's just one constant stream. Really what's happening is it's striking the ground and then it's returning back to the heaven. But when you envision it, make sure that when it is striking you, that it is one constant stream and it reconnects to the heavens when you do that. So that's just a real quick note on that section of the video at this point, folks. So again, I'm going to stop it at this point, and then I'm going to come back and I'm actually going to perform the master ritual, the first part, or the first one, not the one with using two angels at one time. So I'm going to perform the master ritual for you. I'm going to put in a few notes along the way as I perform it, and then I will perform the second master ritual where you have the ability or the option to use more than one angel at the same time. And again, I will make those notes as I go ahead and do that. So let me go ahead and stop this video right now. I'm going to get set up really quick, and then I'll perform the master ritual for you. Okay? Be right back. Alright folks, this is Dreaming Crow coming back. This is going to be the third part of the 72 Angels of Magick book review that I'm doing. Again, here's the book right here. And in this section, I will actually perform the master ritual as described in the book here. And I'm going to go ahead and cover just a couple notes along the way, just to give you a little bit more information, okay? This is going to be the first master ritual. Again, as I described, there are two ways to perform it. One is just by using one single angel, and then the ritual is completed over the 11 consecutive days. You begin on a Thursday and then end on a Sunday. Okay, that's the first master ritual. The other master ritual allows you to use two or more angels at one time. And once I get done with the first one, I'll stop or pause the video at that point, and then I'll go ahead and start the second master ritual. And again, I'll make note in the video where there are some differences between the two. Okay. Now, if you do want a copy of how to perform the master ritual with two or more angels, I do recommend that you do go to the Gallery of Magic website, look up their blog postings, and you want to go to June 29th, 2016. And the actual title of that blog post is 31 New Angelic Powers. Okay, if you pull up that blog post, it does again describe to you the two angel process along with a listing of it's going to be in groupings of two, where the 34 where each of the two angels can be combined. In other words, they give you examples of, use this angel and this angel to perform this particular power or ability or task or whatever. Okay, and those are suggestions if you want to go ahead and try your own after you've used their recommendation a couple times or after a while. Go ahead and by all means go ahead and do that. Part of magic is, of course, experimentation. So go ahead and give that a try if you like. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get into performing the master ritual, simplified version, as in the Angels of Magick by Damon Brand. And let me get into that here really quick. Again, first and foremost, this ritual is performed over the course of 11 consecutive days. So at some point you do want to find a time of day that you would be able to perform this ritual. And again, daytime, nighttime, doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be during any particular moon phase either, okay? When you do set up your altar top or wherever you're performing the ritual at, you do want to be facing in an easterly direction, okay? So placing the Shem Talisman before you, which we have right here, okay? This is the beginning, I open the way. Okay, and it says make the opening gesture, okay? Now, at this point, folks, the opening gesture, the way I learned it, okay, when I was doing, learning things like the lesser banishing ritual, the pentagram, and ceremonial magic and doing other things in my earlier years. Over the altar, you would thrust your arms forward, and the palms are going to be facing out, okay, in this direction. And then you would, what they refer to as part the veil, okay? Now, if you want to do like one finger and do that, or two, or if you want to slide the hands forward and part the veil that way, that's fine. Think of it as like what you're doing when they say part the veil is you're kind of opening that connection to the astral plane where the spirits are at, okay, in that sense, okay? You're opening the veil, or the veil of secrecy, the veil of the universe, however you want to refer to it, okay? That's basically what this gesture is, okay? So again, make the opening gesture. You thrust your arms forward over the altar, and imagine like you're parting a curtain, okay? You have a set of curtains, and you're going to open them, okay? That's sort of what you're doing at this point, okay? Then it says gaze at the Shem Talisman, okay? And keep your eyes on the central triangle. So when you look at it, you want to quickly scan around the first, the second, and the third circles. And it says, I call on the inner world to know that this is my will. Naka Yahweh. Naka Yahweh. Naka Yahweh. And a quick note at this point as well, in case if you're not familiar with the words, Naka Iaoa simply means I know God or I recognize God. Picture the following imagery as clearly as you possibly can as you say them. Okay? I pass through the arch of stone. I walk through the field of golden corn. I'm warmed by the fire of the sun. I'm cooled by the waters of the ocean. I breathe the sweet breeze. I feel the weight of the earth beneath me. I ask, how did I come to be at peace? I ask, how did I let go of fear? I ask, how did I learn to manifest my dreams? Okay, and then at this point you want to imagine an orange glow on your left side and a purple glow on your right side. Just imagine the two colors there. At this point, you don't need to have the Shem Talisman before you any longer. Okay, so you could actually set that aside. And at this point, you want to make sure that you have the sigil for the particular angel that you're going to be working with. Again, I'm using Ra'el. As I talked about in the previous part of the video, this is the 69th angel that I was referring to, okay? And at this point, what you're going to do, folks, is when you read this, you want to, it's going to say scan your eyes around over the letters in the square of your chosen angel. And what they're referring to, folks, is right at this point here, you have this square part right here around the sigil. Okay, and here it is on the bottom, and then here on the side. You want to, of course, again, you're going to read that right to left, and then, right to left, and you want to continue in that process. You don't have to turn the sigil around in order to read it. Just keep the sigil in front of you, and again, read right to left, and go around, and you want to make sure that you're going in a counterclockwise direction. So you're going to first read here, and then here, this way, and then over on this side, all right? So once you've done that part, and you've looked over the square surrounding the angel sigil, okay, I call on the Arzel in the east to connect me to the secret angels of the universe. Kosu Hariyan Silavana Fiha Arzel. Secret angels of the universe. Raziel, Raziel, Raziel. Vahadirika, Zilarika, Aldabarine, Leon Vazedek, Vitoraka, Narahat, Yaminika. of power. Okay, and at this point, folks, it does tell you to visually scan the letters of the invocation chant around the black circle of the angel's sigil, and do this in a counterclockwise direction. And again, I'm going to bring that forward to you. And again, starting at the 12 o'clock position, you want to read this black area here. Okay, you want to follow that counterclockwise. You just have to do it one time, but if you want to do it a couple times just to really take in all the letters, you could go ahead and do that. Okay, once you've scanned that black area around the angel's sigil, okay, it does say to speak the invocation chant of your chosen angel. In that case, folks, the invocation chant is going to be on that in the book for that particular angel. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and flip that really quick for you. The invocation chant is actually a psalm, okay? In this case, it's going to be Psalm 19. Psalm 119, okay? I'm not going to go ahead and particularly read the psalm at this point in time, but it's in the book, okay? Make sure you have that. So you can go ahead and read the psalm, and it is printed phonetically in Hebrew, so you don't have to worry about pronunciation. Pronunciation, folks, it's going to be slightly different for everybody. Do you have an accent? Do you not have an accent? You know, whatever the situation may be. It doesn't have to be perfect, and even Damon Brand mentions that in his book. Just go ahead and read it. There's a pronunciation guide in the book that tells you how to go ahead and pronounce all these words, okay? Once you've done the chosen angel's invocation chant, you then would glance at the angel's sigil, okay? And then you would end up singing the angel's name 3 times. Again, every time that you sing this angel's name during this point, again, you're going to continue to imagine the lightning bolt, okay? Okay, and then once you've done that 3 times, you're going to speak the request to the angel, okay? I call on you, Rael, angel who grants. In this case, since we're doing a ritual on, let's say, your grandfather died and left you an inheritance, but someone in your family is trying to keep that inheritance from you, you can, go ahead and state that request at that point. And then you're going to go ahead and finish up. I seal this command with the word of power. As you angels have come in peace, go in peace. It is done. And then at that point, the ritual is done. You close the book and you're finished. Just as a word here, again, as a note, Ararita is like a divine name. It's kind of like the word of power for sealing a request or action. Kind of like the way that pagans would end up using something like so moto be or it is done. Okay, so but Ararita is actually an acronym in the Hebrew language, and I'm not going to go ahead. I'll go ahead and give it a try. It's Akkad Rosh Akdotho Rosh Ikudo Temurato Akkad. Okay, and basically that means 1 is his beginning, 1 is his individuality, his permutation is 1. Okay, now that completes the master ritual using 1 angel. I'm going to go ahead and give this a pause really quick, and then we're going to go ahead and do the master ritual again using 2 angels. I'm not going to go ahead and do all the notes at that point like I did it here in the first one. I'm just going to go ahead and kind of breeze through it. Okay, but the points that I will point out there, what is different between the first one where you're just using one angel and where you're going to be using two angels. So I'm going to go ahead and flip to that ritual summary for us really quick, and then I'm going to pause this, and then we're going to go ahead and start it up again. All right, be right back, folks. Alright folks, here I am back. This is Dreaming Crow, and this is going to be the fourth and final segment of this video. Again, we are talking about the 72 Angels of Magick, Instant Contact with the Angels of Power by Damon Brand, and I will be conducting the Master Ritual that has been simplified. Okay, in this version though, this version allows you to use two or more angels at one point in time during the ritual. The slight difference is, first of all, when you do perform this ritual, you're not going to do it for 11 consecutive days. You will only be performing the ritual for 3 consecutive days, okay? And that's simply partly due to using 2 angels at one time. Just kind of think of that their power is increased exponentially in that case. If you do use, again, if you use 3 angels or 4 angels for something, again, you're still just going to do the ritual for 3 days. However, try not to go that far ahead. All right, three angels might be kind of pushing it a little bit. I can't see why you would particularly need to use 4 angels at one time, or or even more than that. Just don't overdo it, okay? Because at that point things can definitely get confusing. So just go ahead and try it with the 2 first, and then if you need to direct energies to slightly different energies to the same situation for one reason or another, then go ahead and select 2 other angels and then follow that process. But remember that every time that you perform this magic, in some cases some people are just going to get tired and feel exhausted. I remember when I was doing stuff like this, and I was doing like 3 rituals a day when I had the time and stuff like that. Sometimes after the 3rd ritual, I would just be like, really tired, and that's performing a ritual and then giving myself an hour or 2 rest in between. It can get very tiresome for some people, so try not to overdo it in the beginning. So again, this is going to be the Master Ritual simplified using 2 angels, and I'm going to go ahead and point out the slight differences here as we go along. Again, I'm going to be using Ra'el again in this, which I talked about in the first Master Ritual I just did, and I will be combining Ra'el with Yaba Mia, okay, which is the 70th angel in the book, okay. Again, if you want to get more information on how to perform this ritual, go to galleryofmagic.com. I'm going to have a connection to the website below. Sorry, I'm like losing my track of thought here. The particular blog post you want to look up is 31 New Angelic Powers. It's going to be the June 29th, 2016 blog post, and it does talk about which angels you can go ahead and combine, along with giving you a description as far as to what the differences are when you're performing this particular ritual as opposed to using just one angel. Okay. I can't think of anything else that I need to bring up at this point. So we're going to go ahead and jump into it. Again, make sure that you have a copy of both Angels sigils in front of you, along with the Shem Talisman. You do need to have that. You also want to make sure that you have the Invocation chant. In this case, Ra'el was the Psalm 119, and the other angel is going to be Psalm 145. Again, that information is here in the book. Just go ahead and make sure you reference it, all right? So let me get this out of the way really quick. And then we're going to go ahead and get started here. This is the beginning. I open the way. I call on the inner world to know that this is my will. Naka Yahweh. Naka Yahweh. Naka Yahweh. I pass through the arch of stone. I walk through the field of golden corn. I am warmed by the fire of the sun. I am cooled by the waters of the ocean. I breathe a sweet breeze. I feel the weight of the earth beneath me. I ask, how did I come to be at peace? I ask, how did I let go of fear? I ask, how did I learn to manifest my dreams? Call on the Azel in these to connect me to the secret angels of the universe. Suhariyan Silavana Fiha Azel 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 Azel. I go on the Raziel to make me heard by the secret angels of the universe. Aziel, Aziel, Aziel. Vahadirika, Silarika, Kaldavarime, Leon Vazede. Etorika, Naraha, Yunika, Orazia. Let my voice be heard by the great angels, Ra'el and Yamalia. Let's seal this command with the word of power. Okay, now this is a point that is going to be slightly changed. Okay, at this point you want to visually scan the invocation chant around the first angel sigil. Again, this is going to be Ra'el, and I'm sorry, now that I remember what the issue, I wanted to mention before I started the ritual, when you combine these two angels together, what you get is you get the power to be able to conceal your actions or your acts. Okay, so in this case, that would be what we would be doing at this point if we were using these two particular angels. So again, you want to go ahead and start the black circle around the sigil here. That is the invocation chant. So this is the first angel we're going to start. We're going to go ahead and scan that again counterclockwise. Okay, and then you want to speak the invocation chant for that chosen angel. Again, the first one, Ra'el. In this case, it's going to be Psalm 119, which is in the book. And then you're going to go ahead and sing that angel's name 3 times, again, with being struck by the bolt of lightning imaginarily, okay? So, Ra'el, Ra'el, Ra'el. Okay, and then at this point, you want to visually scan the second angel's invocation chant. Okay, so you need to have the second angel's sigil in front of you at this point. Okay, and then you're going to go ahead and follow the same process. You look around, you scan the invocation chant, you speak the invocation chant, which is, again, in this case, Psalm 145. Again, it's in the book. And then you want to sing the angel's name 3 times, okay? So you basically, what you're doing at this point, folks, is you're connecting with both angels first before you continue on with the rest of the ritual. So once you've connected with them both, you would then continue with the next step. I call on thee, Ra'el, and Yabamiya, angels who have the power to, in this case, conceal my actions from others, or you might word it some other way, okay? Speak your request to the angels at that point, and then you're going to finish out the ritual. I seal this command with the word of power, Ararita, as the angels that have come in peace, go in peace, it is done. Okay, that's basically the rundown on how to perform the master ritual using 2 angels at once. Now, of course, if you're going to use a 3rd angel for something like this, rather than, once you were done using, scanning the 2nd angel and reading the invocation chant and completing that, you would then again pick up the 3rd angel's sigil, and then you would follow through with that before you continued on with the last part of the invocation. And then, of course, you would name all 3 of those angels and, speak your request at that point, and then you seal the command, and then you close out. So that is basically the master ritual simplified using 2 angels at one time. If you folks have any questions or comments regarding this video, go ahead and please leave them in the comment section down below. And again, if you're not already subscribed to my channel, I would appreciate it if you did. And if you already are, of course, thank you very much. Everything that you guys do, as far as like giving me feedback and being a part of my channel, does make this worthwhile for me. I do get great pleasure in making these videos for you guys, explaining things, sharing my personal experiences and whatnot. So with that, folks, it's getting a little late. I'm going to go ahead and combine all these videos together. Again, this is going to be a bit of a lengthy video, but I will end up having try to break down in the description below minutes where, if you just like want to focus on one part of the video as opposed to its entirety, which is probably going to be over an hour in length at this point. you'll be able to go ahead and do that. So I'll make sure that information is down below. Again, Gallery of Magic information is down below there as well if you want to go to their site and get the blog post that talks about how to do the Master Ritual Simplified with 2 angels, as well as a listing of angels that they have already combined together to to be able to perform this. Okay, so with that, folks, I wish you a very fond farewell. Thank you for joining me this evening. Take care and infernal blessings. Bye.